what is Kenya Kwanza going to do differently to make it a reality?
Thank you, Olive. And the viewers, I want to be very quick on this and say thank you very much. It's been a long time. I've been a regular visitor here, but for the last 1 year, I haven't been able to come. Two-third gender principle, it's we have launched a charter. I think I would just want to start there. We launched a charter as Kenya Kwanza Coalition. And the charter, in our charter, #1 priority is the two-third gender principle. And it's something that has kind of become an illusion for women, for the country, because it's really not about women. When we talk about, the word gender doesn't necessarily mean women. It means inclusivity for both gender. And sometimes there are even more than two gender. In a way. No, it's the reality. What I'm trying to say is that when you want to include Kenyans, 90 days means exactly 90 days to come up with a framework. The legal framework became a big challenge in Parliament for the last 10 years. The courts have assisted. Daisy knows that we have had numerous, very big, good, productive meetings. We've come with bills, gender, bills on Duare 1, Duare 2, Sijeni had a bill. Right now there is still a bill, not now because we have closed Parliament. We have dissolved Parliament, Sindai. Shorai had a bill that was not even prosecuted. The Duare bills were pushed to the point that they became government bills. But we lacked political goodwill. You will get lip service, you will get commitments that are half-baked. They are not true, genuine commitments to pass the two-third gender bill. But it doesn't mean just Parliament, legislative assemblies, that is Senate, National Assembly, and the counties. For us, it means across the country, or appointive positions, and really that's where the thing is, because we want the entire government. When you look across the appointments made by the government, from the smallest to the highest, then you expect that we can be able to achieve that through legal framework, administrative actions. Some of these things, like to employ people, you just need the Public Service Commission to observe the Constitution.
Okay.
Yes.
Daisy, you've been campaigning for the enactment of this said legal framework for a long time. Are you optimistic when you hear these promises?
These are the same people who made promises. You know, Jubilee in 2013, if you remember their manifesto, page 30 of their manifesto was a promise. The opening line was, "Women are tired of empty promises." Now remember that this was the first administration elected under the new constitution, tasked with the responsibility of animating many of the provisions in the constitution, key of them being the gender principle, which was now going to bring in those excluded groups, women, youth, PWDs, okay? So here was a golden opportunity for them. And they made a promise, and within their manifesto, they even had a formula. They actually had a formula of how they were gonna execute it. So for me, those promises mean nothing, because we have seen promises in manifestos. These people swear an oath on the Constitution. They swear in the name, they put their hand on the Bible, on the Quran. They swear in the name of their gods that they will uphold the Constitution, and they're the same ones who breach it. So I am not optimistic. First of all, I say, look at who is promising and the track record of how they have honored their promises, okay? Let's start with, and maybe Alice can enlighten us, because at least...
And as we get into the track record, allow me to welcome Senator Rose Nyamunga. Thank you very much for making the time to join us as well. So now we are a full house. Yes. All hello, represented. Continue. You're going ahead. You're saying, let's look. Oh, you can come take your seat here? Okay.
So
you were saying track record.
Yes. So I'm saying let's look at the track record. In 2017, while the nomination process was going around July of 2017, there was a court order that was issued as a result of a case by Katiba Institute, where IBC were compelled to come up with other measures, because the Constitution, in Article 27 on equality and non-discrimination, where the two-thirds gender rule is docketed in the Bill of Rights, provides that the state shall take policy, legislative, and other measures. And so the courts ruled that in the absence of the legislation, because of the frustration by Parliament or the lack of political will, the IBC, as a creature of the Constitution, has a responsibility to the provisions of the Constitution, and therefore they should come up with other measures. And if you recall, IBC were very firm. They instructed all political parties, the 82 political parties that were cleared to contest, to participate in the elections, they had a checklist. And among those items on the checklist was that you must submit lists for election that meet the two-thirds gender principle. So any candidate that is telling us about the two-thirds gender principle and how they are committed to it, let's look at how did they perform? How have they performed in terms of listing? Because what happened was a day before the deadline, somebody, Adrian Kamotho, went to court, and the court stayed that order. And you can be sure that Adrian Kamotho is a proxy for a political entity somewhere. We don't know which political entity. So maybe what we need to look at is how have parties listed women because on their party lists? Because remember that there was that provision, and they had 5 years. It was in 2017. So they had 5 years to actually work around how they're going to ensure, even if it means giving women seats in, opportunity to vie, like maybe Jubilee giving us a seat to a woman in Bondo, for instance, or ODM giving a woman a seat in Gatundu, like just placing them on the list. But at least place them. So that, for me, is the measure number one. The other thing is, yes, promises.
Okay, and let me allow the other panelists to also weigh in on that. Senator Nyamunga, thank you for joining us this morning. Raila Odinga selected Martha Karua as his running mate. We have Gladys Wanga, who is going to contest the Homa Bay governorship seat, if I'm not mistaken. Is that an indicator of Azimio's commitment to this two-thirds gender representation balance?
Thank you very much for inviting me to be here. And I'm sorry that I came a little bit late.
Understood.
But on the issue that you're raising, yes, there is commitment. But in my view, it is a limited commitment. Because if there is proper goodwill, I think we should have done better than that. That is my take. And I think, for example, I'll give myself as an example. I was running for Senate seat in Kisumu County. And that was covering the whole of Western region, Western and Central. So in my view, and then I am not a weak, candidate. I'm a very strong candidate in whatever way you want to look at it. So when I was denied that opportunity, I saw a bit of lack of commitment. That we say it, yes, sometimes to suit a few occasions, but I didn't see a proper commitment to involve women in leadership in this country. And it doesn't apply to me alone. I think it has been across the board. And just as my colleague has said, that there is no need putting a candidate, say from Nyanza, you want to put it in Gatundu or in Rift Valley, where you know they stand no chance. So it has to be at a position where you know that your candidate is strong and you intend to gain. Because it's not a matter of just listing. It's a matter of getting these leaders on board. The idea is to bring women folks to the table. It's not just we are not flower girls, and we are just not going to be listed to be seen that we are listed. So to me, that's my take. Yes, we are so happy with the choice of Martha Karua because she's a woman. She cuts across. She is not from Nyanza. She is from Central, and to me, that is great. And Gladys Wanga being from the whole of, in fact, the whole of Nyanza again and Western, if she makes it, it will be such a big thing, and it's a history for us, but it is not enough.